I want to see your balls, PP. Good.
You want to really see my balls?
PP, I want to see your balls. Good.
Oh, fine.
Oh, gee.
There, you see them?
PP, we were talking metaphorically here.
After watching both Joshscorcher and Voice of Reason's top 10 personal episodes, I decided to talk about my personal episodes. The episodes I can relate to on a personal level. Now keep bear in mind, some of these episodes are my favorite episodes, but they are based on personal experience, so without any further delays, let's start this list off.
Oh, what amazing dresses! Oh, how I love the dresses! Ooh, dresses, 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 dresses! Oh, so they did like them.
I have older brothers, which I'll mention them further on the list. But where do they come from in this episode? Well, sometimes I feel like I'm overshadowed by them. Whenever someone in our hometown sees me, they only recognize me for only my brothers, or members of my family.
I know you're not a little filly anymore, but it's just the last time we did all of those things together, I didn't realize it was gonna be the last time.
When I reviewed this episode, I mentioned that I relate to this episode as both a younger brother and an older brother. Reason why is because I have a little sister who is growing up and becoming a young woman, and I have to realize she's not a little girl anymore. We do still get along, of course. Love you, little sis.
To make sure I never forgave myself for how much Equestria suffered because of me. But it seems I have not learned my lesson. For now I have only made you suffer more.
I know this episode has a lot of controversy. But how do I relate to this episode? Well, it's because I know how Luna feels. Whenever I made a mistake and I hurt someone, sometimes I regret it. And there are moments where I can't forgive myself for whenever I do wrong. Hence one of the reasons why I relate to Luna in some of her episodes.
It's just for a little while, dear, till he gets back on his hooves.
Wait, you don't mean...
Guess who's home? That's right, big sis. It's your one and only favorite little brother, moi.
I actually like Flutter better. The song was good, Fluttershy was at her best here, but how do I relate to this episode? Well, it's because Zephyr acts just like my older brother, and kinda does the same things he does, but 10 times worse, so I know how Fluttershy felt within the episode.
Oh, Tank, I'm sure gonna miss you.
When I first saw this episode, I didn't like it at first, because of RD's actions and getting away scot-free. But when I heard this episode was talking about the 5 stages of grief, I realized I can relate to this episode because I lost many pets before. I remember one of my dogs, his name was Kane. He was one of my best friends, and a very good dog, but when he got a tumor, he was in a lot of pain. We couldn't let him suffer anymore because of all the pain he was in. So we had to put him down, and we still miss him to this very day. It was sad for me and my family to say goodbye to him.
No, you're a good student. You can do this. Oh, but what if I can't? You can. You just have to keep it together. Keep it together.
Are you talking to yourself?
For those who don't know me very well, I have a bit of anxiety. I stress over the little things. Whenever I mess up on something, I end up feeling terrible, just like I mentioned in my previous entry. I slightly go a bit crazy. I sometimes get panic attacks, but I do have friends that support me and help me through things.
Oh, just face it, Luna. You are never happy.
Because you don't want me to be happy.
I always have to do things your way. I bet you wish I'd never come back so you could still rule day and night. think I like that kind of pressure? Being responsible for every little thing in Equestria and you?
I really enjoyed Between Dawn and Dark, but where does the relatability come from this episode? Well, when I see Luna and Celestia argue, I see me and my brothers arguing. We argue over the littlest things, even the most pettiest things. Me and my brothers are basically Celestia and Luna. All three of us are basically night and day, especially me and my oldest brother.
I don't care how many ponies care about him. They're not gonna make me forget about Dad.
Oh, sweetheart, I know Quibble's trying too hard, but he doesn't want you to stop loving your dad. He just wants you to like him. And I think maybe there's enough room in your heart to do both.
I know how Windsprint felt, having divorced parents. And having many step-parents can be getting used to. But over time, I got to know my stepdad, and well, with a bit of time, we sort of grew a little close. It's hard at first, but in the end, it can be good.
I was humiliated. I felt like I wasn't important. I never wanted to let myself be hurt like that again.
Some of you probably saw this coming. I relate to this episode in two ways. On one way, I relate with Twilight. Whenever I make a mistake, I try to do the best I can to fix said mistake. But the other reason why I relate to this episode is because of Moondancer. I know how she felt having a friend left you, and it can hurt. But like Twilight mentioned, that she shouldn't let her mistake ruin Moondancer's life.
I only made that deal with Iron Will so my family and the cruise ponies could have the vacation they wanted.
What about what you wanted?
I just want every pony to be happy.
Some of you aren't surprised that this would be my #1 pick, but for those who don't know me very well, it's like this. Sometimes I try so hard to make other people around me happy, including my friends and my family. But when I can't make them happy or satisfy them, I get upset. And it frustrates me just like Twilight did in this episode. But the actual reason why I put this episode on the #1 spot is because the lesson. It was a lesson I needed to hear. It's hard to try to satisfy people, but I try to remember that I have an obligation towards myself at the end of the day. So that was my top 10 personal episodes of MLP. Thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you all in my next video.